Wisconsin Governor Scott Walker, the one-time golden boy of the Republican Party, is no more. He's kaput. His campaign has been suspended. He came out today and announced that he wants to clear up the panorama for the rest of the candidates because now it's too crowded, Nick. This is very surprising because he was the chosen one. He was the one who was going to receive the millions upon millions that the Koch brothers have in store to defeat the Democrats this election. But now we see that he comes out, he decides, because his very poor performance in the debates and in the polls, he suspended his campaign.
Right, and actually extremely surprising for a lot of people. I mean, we go back to 2011, he was the rising star. He became very popular with the Tea Party people because he was, you know, curtailing power of these unions, these labor unions and so on. But look, for a lot of people, he was sort of the guy that would give the Democrats the run for their money, and it's surprising to see him, of all, drop out. But again, there's so many of them, so is it really surprising? I mean, it is surprising who is dropping out, but it's not surprising that people are dropping out.
No, I mean, there were so many of them that eventually they will have to start dropping out. We see that earlier this year, he was a rising star. Most of the people will say that he was the one that was going to win this nomination, but Donald Trump came and hacked the system. He just flipped the script completely, and now he's forcing people that, you know, his persona, Scott Walker's persona of a hard, tough guy that had to get things done and willing to create havoc, as he said once in Washington. I think that didn't fly with this new age of politics where charisma, or some sort of charisma for some people, if you, counts a lot more. And I think also one of the very important issues is kind of this idea that people is waking up to the fact that Scott Walker was nothing more than a puppet for special interest. And they're starting to see that, you know, Donald Trump, he can say whatever he wants, but he has no agenda group behind him. It's his stuff and his craziness that is pushing forward. Scott Walker was there only to respond to the interest of corporate America, of the status quo, and I think a lot of even Republicans are waking up to see that that not necessarily is what this country needs.
Right, and I don't think necessarily running out of money was the issue. And you got people like the Koch brothers. It's more people like Trump who are just taking the game and kind of flipping it on its head, because it's kind of making people realize that maybe you don't have to be politically correct. Maybe you don't always have to be, you know, the upright, standing citizen who's like perfect and never makes any mistakes. Here's Donald Trump bashing everybody, saying this, that, you have an ugly face, Carly Fiorina, you're fat, you're ugly, and then he's just gaining more and more popularity for it. So I think he's kind of just completely changing the game and what popularity means in this kind of race now. He's kind of changing the whole thing and flipping it on its head. Don't you think?
I agree. I think that we are seeing the intersection of entertainment and politics like never before. And also, like you mentioned, money. I think that there was an issue of money, although he had really big donors behind him and people backing him up. They start seeing that his poll numbers were dropping, that his performance in the debates was not, was not resonating with the electorate, but also the way the campaign was set up. I think that he hired a lot of advisors that just gave it for granted that the money will keep coming at the same rate, and they created this expansive infrastructure to maintain a national campaign, but the money didn't came as often as they thought they will, and then suddenly they were broke and with no chance of catching up with Trump, that is leading by far. He actually had some specific words saying, "I'm suspending my career because I want other candidates to also do the same, so the electorate have more chance to see the real politicians giving a jab to Donald Trump, saying we need to clear the space so people that can actually debate on the issues and not on the personas."
I think in this race, particularly this year, I think what's important is being really outspoken. I don't think he was outspoken. I mean, he didn't captivate enough people. I don't think enough people were interested in him. Look at Ben Carson, for example. We just spoke about his comments, right, about how he said Muslims should not be president. That got him a lot of likes on Facebook. That got a lot of people on his team because he said something upfront, blunt, that offended a lot of people, but it also made a lot of people happy. So you kind of got to be straightforward and really outspoken, I think, in this race when you're competing with people like Trump.
And I think that in this case, Scott Walker couldn't shake up this persona of being the stand-up puppet for a special interest. We want to know your opinion on this issue. Are you surprised that Scott Walker is no longer a candidate for the presidency? Let us know in the comments below. And if you haven't, please subscribe to the Lip TV 2.